and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going back to Southern Islay. We're going to go to Laphroaig Cairdeas Fino Cask 2018. So this is my first Laphroaig Cairdeas that I've brought you guys. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. What Cairdeas means is friendship in Gaelic. So basically they're yearly bottlings. And being a part of Friends of Laphroaig, we get emails about what's coming out as far as each year's standard friendship bottlings, ways to get them. A little hard to get here in Columbus, Ohio, because they don't ship directly to here, but I can pick them up a few places. They did kind of hit the circuit here in Ohio. Also, I had one of my coworkers, I believe, pick one up for me in Chicago when he was visiting. So not easy to get your hands on, but when you do, pretty good value for the money. This particular bottle, I think, was about $75, and it comes in at a cask strength of 51.8% ABV. No age statement, unfortunately, but we can try to glean what that is here on the nosing and the tasting. One thing I will say, this is a little different than some of the Laphroaigs that I brought you in the past, or that I've had, period, where it is first fill American oak, and also Fino cask, Fino sherry cask. So it's kind of my first time with some of these Fino cask finishings. I have another bottle that I'm bringing you shortly. Let me see if there's anything on the back that I want to say. 2018 showcases a special double maturation of first fill bourbon casks and then a finishing in sherry casks. It doesn't say how long they were in the sherry cask. It does say it was matured between warehouses 8 and 10. So would that be 9? If it's in between, or would that be 8 and 10? Probably 8 and 10. I would assume it's the latter, but maybe it's between the two? I don't know. If you know, tell me in the comment section. All right, so big fan of Laphroaig. I have probably as many bottles of Laphroaig as any other distillery, probably 20 or so, in my, what would you call it, closet of whiskey that I have. Basically use my pantry as a whiskey cabinet, so there it is. I guess priorities. So let's get into this one. Fino Cask Laphroaig Cairdeas Friendship 2018. So soft and sweet on the arrival. Love cask strength Laphroaig, 10-year-old, the cask strength 25s, even the 48% 18, one of my favorites, but I gotta tell you, it does not have the smoke punch that those do, not by a long shot. Almost as soft as, say, like the 15-year-old. That's a much lower ABV, 43%. But just a very soft, rounded smoke, very sweet. You're not getting a lot of the typical Laphroaig flavors. You're getting almost like a hay characteristic. It's almost like being on a farm. As a boy, cousin had a farm, or should I say, my cousin married a guy who his parents had a farm, and I was there many times. It reminds me of like that when they're stacking hay in the barn. There's a nice nuttiness to it as well. Probably hazelnut. It's really amazing how, you know, again, you think 51.8% ABV, you think first fill bourbon, and then this exotic Fino maturation, you think I'm gonna get a bunch of strong, punchy flavors, and it's really not the case at all. You know, again, no age statement here, so it always makes me think less than 10 years old when, you know, when distilleries don't put an age statement on it, but it wouldn't shock me if there were some much older whiskeys in this. Almost a light apricot on the nose. Again, yeah, I think it's hazelnut, like a toasted hazelnut. But Fino is a very sharp sweetness. I guess how I would describe that, it kind of comes on strong with the sweetness initially, and then it kind of tails off pretty quickly. Some nice oakiness. The oak and the sweetness intermingle really well in this particular one. I've been excited to actually bring this one to you guys. This bottle here is almost empty, but it is my second bottle, and I have a third one that's unopened that I have put away. That I want to come back to maybe many years from now. I think that highly of this particular one, especially the price point. I mean, $75 or so, you're going to be hard pressed to find another peated whiskey that's cask strength that brings you this much sweetness and complexity for that price. Hard pressed. Okay, so the more I nose it, the more some of those more rugged iodine Laphroaig notes are starting to come up. Need some time in the glass to lose its sweetness, but if you're a fan of the regular punch in the face Laphroaig, it's still there. You just got to give it a little bit of time. Very nice. First sip back. The initial arrival, shockingly sweet. And it's soft. And again, 51.8% cask strength Laphroaig. Soft is never a word that I expected to say when I initially got this bottle. That's what it is, just soft, approachable, chewy oak, dried apricot, maybe just a tad bit of honey, a little bit of saltiness, a little bit of that coastal salty briminess. Man, really nice. You can tell it's a Laphroaig, but a Laphroaig that you have not experienced before. Or at least I have not. Being a fan of the 10, the 15, the triple woods, the 25, your standard Laphroaigs, so to speak. This is very off profile for them, but still with the linger and the aftertaste brings you back to that iodine-rich medicine hospital Laphroaig. But just the initial sweet arrival and the dried apricots and the chewy oak is just so apparent and so there. Man, this is a lovely bottle for 75 bucks. I mean, really, you'd be hard-pressed to spend your money better if you're a fan of the Southern Isles. Really, truly hard-pressed to spend your money any better than you could possibly with this one. I'll tell you what, I have a couple of Cairdeas bottles. I got the triple wood that I'll be bringing you guys here shortly. But this particular one, very, very well done. I applaud Laphroaig for this. I had the 15-year-old, which was okay. Very similar to kind of the 200th anniversary. So with these these Cairdeas bottles, initially I wasn't blown away, but these last couple ones that I was able to get my hands on, I've been fairly impressed with. All right, so put a few drops of water in this. I will say, brings out the sweetness a little bit more, brings out more of those hay characteristic notes, almost like a less refined version of Barora when it comes to the hay. Had a Barora 30 and a 38, I want to say, both magic whiskeys, and there was like some of that hay farm notes that I kind of got in there, much more refined in the Barora, but they're kind of here in this Fino cask. Again, less old, not as refined, a little bit rougher around the edges, but still there, still there. Excellent. Last sip time. Again, oaky sweetness. And then as soon as you swallow, you're getting more of that typical Laphroaig smoke when you add a few drops of water into it. So if you want to sort of tame down that distillery characteristic, neat, shockingly. But when you add a few drops of water, after you initially swallow, that kind of Laphroaig taste really comes up. Now, it's quite a bit drier than some Laphroaigs that I've had in the past, and Laphroaig is kind of a dry Scotch anyway because of how heavily peated it is. So the Fino cask does add a sticky dryness to an already dry style of whiskey to begin with. So that's different. If you're a fan of dry whiskeys in general and peated whiskeys, I think that'll be something you really appreciate in this one. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about it. This was fairly widespread. I know a lot of people have been able to get their hands on it. So if you were one of those people, I would definitely like to hear what you have to think about this particular one. Maybe you're not as impressed as I am, but again, for $75, which this drink's more expensive than a $75 whiskey in my opinion. This drink's much more expensive, especially what the prices have been doing here in the States here recently. So, I think I picked this up for roughly $25 less than, say, a Lagavulin in 16. Much better buy, in my opinion. If you're able to get, again, your hands on this, I would definitely consider that a good choice. And if you're still looking for it, I still think there's a few up Denny's in Chicago if you happen to drive through. But unfortunately, here in Ohio, they're all gone. Secondary market. Auctions, what can I tell you? Anyway, I'm going to give this a whiskey score of 89 out of 100. Great whiskey at any price. considering the price of $75 to me, if you're someone who wants to keep yourself, you know, $100, $150 and under as far as a bottle of scotch, which is completely reasonable. There are a lot of good choices, but I put this one towards the top of the list. Anyway, until next time, hope you guys are having a good one out there. Wish you happy drinking and love to hear your thoughts in the comments section.